Okay, we're going to start the minute in about 30 seconds here.
Must have been out with the bank worker on the arm because some of them are chopped off top.
I remember when you used to have the snow blower that would go down the parkway.
Out into the
Yeah.
bay.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Good evening, everyone. This is the Grand Traverse County Resource Management Administration Committee meeting. This is a committee of the whole of the Board of Commissioners of Grand Traverse County. Today is Wednesday, February 12th. It's just slightly after 6 p.m. We will open and call the meeting to order. If you have a cell phone, if you could please put that on silent or vibrate, it would be much appreciated. We will start out with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Commissioner Lemko, if you could lead us in that opening ceremonies.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Can we have a roll call attendance, please, Sarah?
Max Bauer.
Here.
Lemkool.
Here.
Wheelock.
Yes, ma'am.
Thomas.
Yep.
Rennie.
Here.
Inman.
Here. And can you show Commissioner Lathrop is
Excused. Yes.
Okay. We will now move on to the approval of the January 15th regular session of the Resource Management Administration Committee meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the January 15th minutes as provided.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Wheelock, seconded by Commissioner Rennie to approve the January 15th 014 minutes. Discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes. That leads us to our first public comment. If the clerk could read the rules regarding public comment.
Any person shall be permitted to address a meeting of the Board of Commissioners which is required to be open to the public under the provision of the Michigan Open Meetings Act. Public comment shall be carried out in accordance with the following board rules and procedures. Any person wishing to address the board shall state his or her name and address. No person shall be allowed to speak more than once on the same matter, excluding time needed to answer commissioners' questions, if any. The chairperson shall control the amount of time each person shall be allowed to speak, which shall not exceed 3 minutes. The chairperson may, at his or her discretion, extend the amount of time any person is allowed to speak. Public comment will be solicited during the 2 public comment periods noted in Rule 5.4 Order of Business. However, public comment will generally be received at any time during the meeting regarding a specific topic currently under discussion by the board. Members of the public wishing to comment should raise their hand or pass a note to the clerk in order to be recognized and shall not address the board until called upon by the chairperson. Okay,
Those are the general guidelines for our first public comment. We also have a public comment towards the end of our meeting, and if there's a particular item that you came for tonight, if you could get my attention or the clerk's attention, if you wish to speak at that item, let me know. So we will open up the first public comment. Does any member of the public wish to speak at this time? If you do, you can approach the podium and please state your name and address. Anyone? No, lots of happy people out there, but no one did. Well, we have one. Oh, you're going over to answer the phone.
Leaving.
Oh, you fooled me there. I thought he was running for the podium, and he's running for his cell phone. Okay, we will close public comment, and we move on to the approval of the agenda as presented. Dave, do we have any additions that you're aware of?
No, I have none.
Okay. So we need approval of the agenda as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Moved by Commissioner Lemkool, seconded by Commissioner Wheelock. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes. We now move on to the consent calendar. If the clerk could read the consent calendar, please.
The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with by one commission motion without discussion. Any member of the commission, staff, or the public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such requests will be automatically respected. If any item is not removed from the consent calendar, the action noted, received and filed, or approval is approved by a single committee action adopting the consent calendar. All information identified on the consent calendar can be viewed at its entirety at www.grandtraverse.org. A. Receive and file. 1. Road Commission Monthly Report. 2, Conservation District Monthly Report. 3, Resource Recovery Managers Report. B, approval. 1, 2014 hauler licenses. 2, wood grinding, hauling, and removal services contract extension.
Okay, you have heard the reading of the consent calendar. Does any member of the public wish to pull an item off the consent calendar for further discussion? Seeing none from the public, moving to the Board of Commissioners. Any commissioner wish to pull an item? Commissioner Rennie.
1A,
1A.
or
Okay.
A1, I guess it would be.
Yeah, A1. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, let's have a motion to approve the consent calendar with the exception of A1.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Rennie, seconded by Commissioner Wheelock, to approve the consent calendar with the exception of A1 that will be next in line for discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Lemkool,
Yes.
Wheelock,
Yes, ma'am.
Thomas,
Yep.
Rennie,
Yes.
Max Bauer,
Yes.
Inman.
Yes. Okay, that takes care of the consent calendar. We will now move on to, oh, I see we changed our agenda. Items removed from consent calendars after special orders. So we will now move on to special orders of business, and that is the Take It Back Recycler of the Year Award presenter to Carter's Compost. And I'm sure that most of you are here on this particular event. Who would like to speak on this behalf? Get yourself introduced to the public and
Thank you,
Those
Mr. Chair.
folks in the
I'm Kim
audience.
Elliott with the Grand Traverse County Resource Recovery Department, Recycle Smart. And this evening, we are going to present our 2013 Take It Back Recycler of the Year Award. I'd like to give you just a little background before I turn it over to our Resource Recovery Council Chair, Jim Carruthers, who will make the presentation and bring out some of the highlights of Carter's Compost. The Take It Back program began in 2008 as a solution for residents of the Grand Traverse County area to participate in recycling on a year-round basis. This has grown from 0 to 63 participating businesses with over 100 products that are available to recycle on a year-round basis. This is our 8th year, as I mentioned earlier, and some of our past participants included examples like Gilboa Industries, who take back computers, the medicine shop, and the prescription shop, who took back medications. These are just some of the examples that are out there on our Take It Back program. With that said, I'm very proud and honored to have Carter's Compost and the support here tonight. And Mr. Carruthers, our chair, will go over some of the highlights of their accomplishments and why they were selected and how they were selected.
Thanks, Kim. Jim Carruthers, Chair of the Resource Recovery Council. Every year, the Resource Recovery Council gives our Take It Back Recycle of the Year Award. As you are well aware, you host us every year for this. And we are very proud this year to be giving this award to Carter for Carter's Compost. Carter runs a 100% bike-powered recycling program. I think many of you, if you live in Traverse City, see him riding his bike around town with his trailer, with his white, 5-gallon buckets, hauling, recyclable kitchen waste. It's pretty amazing. You see him sometimes rain or shine. You see him in the dark. I'm really impressed by this. He's assisted over 100 of our residents in, diverting compostable kitchen waste from our landfills. He picks up about, on average, 40 buckets a week on his bike, and I think he has a little help from his brother and a few other people, too, that are here to support him. He's actually diverted 15 tons of food waste from the landfill, something that is pretty amazing to think that he's done this on his bike, with the help of just a few people. And he's now taught 13 of his clients to actually compost in their own yards, that they don't really need the services anymore because he's taught them that anyone can do this. You can set up a composting system in your own backyard. And he's really taken the bull by the horns to really make this effort happen. If you would like further information, he's got a website, carterscompost.com. So you can check out what he's doing or sign up for his services. But this time, I think we'd like to invite Carter, his family, and his supporters up here, and we will sort of present him with our plaque here. So Carter, here's the plaque, and I think
We can get our
Herb's gonna come
chairman up there
here
to
to work with
get a
us.
picture with those folks all
So if everyone
together.
wants to gather around.
What?
There you go, look great.
One smile. Cheese.
Recyclable.
Sure,
Yeah.
come on up. No problem,
take your time.
come on up. Let's get the whole family up, would you?
Everybody's supportive.
Let's,
Look at this.
let's get the whole family and friends up, come on.
Everybody come on up.
Family and friends, come on up.
Well, nice and straight so we can see it all.
Aren't all grandmas great?
Hold it down.
Who wants to get the other end here?
You want this one? Come in tighter. Come closer.
Hold it up, hold it tight.
On three. Everyone smile. 1, 2, 3.
All right.
All right, another one. I'll say compost. 1, 2, 3. Awesome.
Carter, if you'd like to say a few words to the commission, council, you're more than welcome to do so. Just introduce yourself and.
I'm Carter Schmidt, CEO and Chief Bucket Slinger at Curtis Compost. And I'd just like to say thank you. The plaque is huge and it's awesome. I'm really proud of it.
Anything else?
All right.
I think, when we started in 2012 with 3 customers, it's really it's taken off, and we've had lots of support from our neighbors and sponsors who have donated financially so that we can buy new bikes and new trailers. So this has really been a Traverse City-wide initiative, and we've had 3 other kids slinging buckets in Central neighborhood and Traverse Heights neighborhood, and so we're trying to, the paper boys disappeared years ago, but I think the compost boys is a good job for kids today, so we appreciate the honor. It's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
We certainly want to thank everyone that took the time and effort to come out and support this award. And, we put in a lot of challenging hours as county commissioners, and there are a few times that that are rewarding for us at the board level, and this is one of them that we can always look back to being proud of, that giving these kinds of awards out to our public and doing good things in Grand Traverse County for our citizens and helping our programs. And these are the fun and exciting things about being in public service that we really appreciate and will remember. So thank you, everyone, for coming. All right.
Oh, wow, that was great.
We will now move on. You're welcome to leave if you'd like, or you're welcome to stay.
Guarantee it's going downhill from here.
This was the high point of our meeting.
That's what I was trying to tell them.
It's downhill from here.
Now we got the sheriff's budget.
No, not today.
Okay, just kidding there, Sheriff.
Were you supposed to add something?
We will now move on as they are ready to leave.
I thought it was Adam. Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
you noted the sheriff is here, and we talked to the sheriff yesterday about adding an agenda item. I
Oh,
completely
that's
forgot
right.
about it.
We
I
need
thought
to-
it was on this.
And it was not on the agenda.
Thought we got a
If
substitute.
I could ask the Board of Commissioners to add, we need an update from the Sheriff's Department regarding their current FTE issue. There's an issue coming up with an additional couple of officers that have given them notice, so we need to discuss that. I'd like to get that on the agenda if we could under New Business D. So can I have a motion to amend the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I would move to add the Sheriff's Department's personnel issue to new business item D.
11D. Is there support?
I would support that.
With Rennie, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
All right, we will now move on to the items removed from the consent calendar, and that would be the road commissioner report. Commissioner Rennie, you have the floor.
Yeah, Mr. Cook, please.
Good evening, Jim Cook, Grand Traverse County Road Commission.
Sorry I didn't give you a heads up on this. I just had a couple questions on your report that I read. One was concerning your 2014 budget. You show expenses over revenue. How's our snow plowing budget this year with all this snow we had? Has that impacted anything?
Actually, surprisingly, you know, you hear a lot in the news about salt shortages and budgets, especially with MDOT. And the difference between us and MDOT is MDOT's fiscal year starts October 1st. So they've taken the brunt of winter starting in November, heavy snow and cold temperatures, you know, November, December, January, and part of February already. So our fiscal year starts January 1st, and so because of the weather, you know, I keep a pretty close eye on the budget, and we're actually we're in good shape compared to last year. Last year we actually put down more salt than we did this year. We put down about 3,700 tons last year in January. This year we only put down about 2,700 tons, and the reason is it's been so cold. We're using more sand than salt, but sand is, you know, $5 and some odd cents per ton versus $55 a ton for sand. So, so that's actually been a help for us, depending on how you look at it. But the other thing is we had a pretty brutal last 2 weeks of January last year. We had a lot of snow and cold temperatures, and so we're very comparable to where we were last year. So right now, you know, the way our fiscal year rolls is, you know, that early November, winter, and December actually was in 2013, and so we were $43,000 under budget for 2013. So that's pretty good compared when you look at how late the winter went into spring, and with the early winter in 2013. So, you know, what we don't want is we don't want February to look like January, and it would really be nice if we could have a normal springtime instead of you know, April. So.
Other question, cost-sharing policy. Says you amended your required township match on bituminous surfacing from 50 to 40. What's that all about?
Yeah, actually, our board wanted to take a look at the cost share policy after the first of the year, and so they did that. And so we typically, what we had last year was we did a 50-50 split on any paving resurfacing projects. So we did 50 splits with the townships. And so this year, our board voted to make it a 60-40. So it's actually 40% for the townships this year.
Okay.
Good to hear that.
Wasn't it at one time a third? 75-25, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and depending on the type of construction, if it's a total reconstruction, or if we were going to pave a gravel road, that's considered new construction by Act 51, and so we are actually limited to what we can contribute, which is 75%. Or we can only contribute 25%.
25%,
so
right.
75 has to come from somewhere else.
Okay, any other questions on the report?
On your road and risk reserve fund project, you talked with Wayne Schmidt about that. What's happening on La Freniere?
Well, I did meet with Representative Schmidt, and we submitted a new list. I was hoping to hear by now, but maybe it'll be next week. But sometime this month, we're supposed to hear about the new projects that were selected. And again, this is relative to the surplus funds that they found last year, and they did an award. I can't remember now if it was December or January, but we didn't luck out last time. The city got some funds, the Village of Kingsley and the Village of Fife Lake. So what I did is I submitted what I'll call the Cadillac fix for Lafreniere, and that is we submitted it as three separate projects. The intersection is one for $300,000. The hill, which is about $700,000, and then from the hill to Hammond Road, which is about another $500,000. And so that was one project. The other one was Supply Road. Again, we have that on our project list to do this year, but if we could acquire some additional funding, we could add another project to our list. So, and then the third project that we added was a miscellaneous small projects fund for $250,000 to fix. There are some roads, such as Peaceful Valley, where in general the road it rates pretty good, except there'll be a 300 or 400 foot section that rates low, like a 3. And so what we want to do is typically we look at big projects, that's how we fix roads, but we're looking for some additional funds to go out and just fix sections of roads. So they tend to be kind of expensive, but they would help us out.
On that Supply Road issue, if you don't get the federal fund, then will you still do the entire project with your mix of fixes, or how's that going to work?
Yeah, actually what we've done is we've proposed 11 miles of repairs and improvements to Supply Road. Again, that's actually being covered by the millage funds.
Right.
And then there's a mile section that that will also be covered by federal and state funds a year from now, but we have the opportunity to move that if we can, as long as the bids come in and we can do the whole project, we'll do the whole project this year. But again, if we could get some additional funding, that's 11 miles of roads that we could do somewhere else in the county. So
Thanks.
we're trying to play every opportunity that we can.
Good to hear.
Is that complete?
Fine.
Okay, Commissioner Wheelock.
Jim, I know that last year we talked about doing something with Crescent Shores Road along Lake Township, and the township was considering, cooperating with that or co-paying that. Is that project, any chance that's going to happen this spring?
It's not on our list for a definite project. It is on our list of miscellaneous partnership projects. And I actually spoke with Karen last week, and we're going to be getting together. There's an opportunity, not in 2014, but possibly in 2015. Our big concern is the parking. We really can't go out and widen a road and provide parking on both sides of a county road, but I think there's some things that we can do to work with the township and
They had on their
fix that
agenda
road.
last night, and I'm sorry I had to drop in and make my report and leave because I had another thing I had to do, but they had a discussion last night about possibly acquiring some property on the south side of that road because that property is going to be for sale in the spring, and possibly provide a parking lot there, deal with some of that.
Yeah, I didn't know that was public knowledge, so yeah.
Well, they discussed it in their meeting last night, so.
Guess it's public now.
Any other questions on the road commission report? Okay, we need a motion to receive and file.
So move.
Moved by Commissioner Rennie. Support. Seconded by Commissioner Wheelock to receive and file the road commission report. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, passes. Thank you.
All right, thank you very
Appreciate your
much.
coming.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay, that concludes items removed from the consent calendar. We have no department action items. We have no unfinished business. We will now move under item 11, new business, and to accommodate Commissioner Rennie's request at the beginning of the meeting, I'd like to ask the board to allow me to move boards and committee appointments to after the sheriff's report under new business, because there potentially could be a couple of the nominees for the mental health appointments that may be here in our chambers. So I'd like to accommodate his request. So I'd like to start out, so we'll hold on A and get back on that, and we'll go right to B, which is the resolution supporting revenue sharing recommendation. Dave, you want to speak on that? I think that we directed you to do that.
Yes. And the resolution is in your packet. It basically thanks our governor for appropriating full funding or recommending full funding for county revenue sharing. and urges our other legislators to include that in the budget as it moves through the House and the Senate.
Okay. So you're requesting immediate action so we can get it out on the
Yep.
full board, so.
Mr. Chairman, I would move for immediate action to reauthorize the distribution of the resolution supporting full revenue sharing funding to the state.
So moved by Commissioner Wheelock, seconded by Commissioner Rennie, to approve the resolution supporting revenue sharing recommendation to the state 015 budget for immediate approval. Discussion?
I just wanted to add that I also have sent a form piece to the Record Eagle.
Okay, all right. Since this requires immediate reaction, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Wheelock?
Yes, ma'am.
Thomas?
Yep.
Rennie?
Yes.
Max Bauer?
Yes.
Lemkool?
Yep.
Inman?
Yes. Thank you very much. Next item is the Title County Commissioner compensation for 015, 016. As I was meeting with staff, I was reminded that the filing deadline had been moved up compared to previous years. I don't know, I can't recall the exact date. It was sometime in the third week in April.
That's right.
Instead of like the second week in May. So I said we historically over the last 2 terms for the new commissioners, we have gotten that on the docket earlier in the year, so we can hopefully come to an agreement on what the county commission compensation salary and benefit structure would be for the next election cycle for 2015 and 16 before the filing deadline, and that's been our custom over the last several terms to do that before the filing deadline rather than wait till the end of the year prior to the November election, which was done historically a long time ago. So I think we should continue to do that. I did ask staff to get with Jen Seaman to see if what we did is we gave her the previous review that she did for us 2 years ago when we made those declarations of compensation for commissioners, and asked her to update that if she could based on the comparable counties that we are looked upon by other departments in terms of county commission salaries and compensation. She indicated she wasn't able to get it done at this meeting and asked to refer that item to the Ways and Means. So hopefully at our Ways and Means packet, when that comes out, you will have the data of the comparisons, not like comparing us to the other counties as we have done in the past. And then my goal would be hopefully is to come up with some kind of agreement this month, hopefully, if we could, on the compensation level for county commissioners for the 015, 016 year. So I'd like to defer that to the Ways and Means meeting and allow you to get the packet and review the information on the comparisons, and we'll go forward from there. Any discussions on that item? Commissioner Lemkool.
I'd like to have the average compensation for our current commissioners, including per diems.
Okay.
And so we can maybe base our salary on the combination of salary, per diems, and health insurance all as one package.
Okay.
So we don't have to deal with per diems and
Okay.
mileage. So if we
Okay.
can put all that together, and then we could have that information and maybe use that as a guideline rather than other
Or we could take a
counties.
look at it, yeah.
But I'd like to have that information. if I could.
So, Dave, if you could get with Jen and get the 013 per diem results for the commissioners, and then put those out for us and then get us an average, if you could, as well.
Will do.
Anyone else have any comments on that item? Commissioner Wheelock?
Well, the only comment that I would make is the discussion that I had 2 years ago, and that was when the county board went from 9 members to 7, the workload didn't get smaller. The workload stayed the same, and now it has to be divided amongst 7 of us instead of 9 of us that were due previously. So, take that into consideration when you look at the historical things, and when you look at comparable counties or comparable counties, even though they may be similar in size and everything else. Do they have 9 commissioners? Do they have 7 commissioners? Do they have
Right.
11 commissioners?
No, that's a good point as well.
Not look at the average salary for a commissioner, but also look at how many commissioners they have that's doing the work, because, our workload didn't get smaller as a group when we went from 9 members to 7.
Right. Dave, if you can also ask Jen to ask during the survey, her phone survey to those counties, if we can get the number of commissioners. Commissioner Rennie?
Yeah, I think Sonny makes a great point.
is 7 enough? Do we discuss the number of commissioners
We
also
don't have-
during this kind
we
of?
don't
That's
have
not
a
our
choice.
decision. No choice on that? That's just
No,
census?
It
that's-
had nothing to do with that.
Every 10
That's done
years.
by the
Just the census.
10 years.
Okay.
Yeah, it's done years, every 10 years there's a census, and then the reapportionment board comes
Based on
together, and then they make the decision, and then that's.
The clerk, the treasurer, and the prosecuting attorney set
And
that.
and the chair of the Republican Party and the
Oh,
Democratic
yeah,
Party,
Republican Party, and yeah.
and the clerk, treasurer, and the prosecutor are the apportionment.
And we
Okay.
live with what they give us.
Yes. So we're in agreement, we'll defer that to the Ways and Means Committee, so the chair, Commissioner
Need a
Wheelock,
motion
you'll
for
have
that?
that, you'll be chairing that meeting.
Do you need a motion for that?
Let's take a motion to defer the meeting to Ways and Means.
I'll make that motion.
All right, moved by
To
moved by
table
Commissioner
to Ways and
Lemko,
Means.
supported by Commissioner Wheelock to defer the item to Ways and Means Committee of this month for further information requested by the County Commission. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Okay, that leads us to the Sheriff's Department update on their FTE issue. And Sheriff, if you, and whoever you'd like to come up, you have the floor.
Thank you. Tom Bensley, Grand Traverse County Sheriff. Currently, as you know, the Sheriff's Office is under a hiring freeze. We have watched as other county departments have been filling vacancies. We have 2 vacancies. We asked in November to fill the vacancies and were denied by the board at that time until the budget review process had been completed. We had started background checks on 2 candidates in October, but stopped that process when the hiring freeze was put into place. We are looking at the possibility of 2 additional vacancies in the near future. With the hiring freeze in place, we cannot even advertise for applications to fill those vacancies. We're asking to be able to advertise for those deputies' positions. As you know, filling a vacancy is a long process for our office. We have to advertise for the position, screen the applications for qualification, conduct written and physical tests, evaluate the applicants, and select and interview them before a background check is done. Then the training starts, which is a 3-month process. Totally, this is easily a 5 or 6 months process from start to finish. We're not asking to hire, but only to begin the process so that we are ahead of the curve. However, at this time, if you would like to consider allowing us to fill our 2 current vacancies, we would be able to have those officers working before summer when we expect to be quite busy. The bottom line is, in reality, what we are looking at is going into the summer with the possibility of 4 vacancies out of our 24 county-funded deputy positions that we have. Additionally, this afternoon I received an email from Captain Hall, and he stated that one of his officers spoke with him today. He said he's putting his house up for sale. When it sells, he's moving to Arizona. He's had enough of winter. So, not only does this affect our law enforcement operation, it also affects the operations in the jail. So, we can't do anything. We've been told that we can't even put out applications or put out the request for applications because of the hiring freeze. It affects that also. So.
Okay. Anyone else? I can make some remarks on how we want. I had Dave Benda, our county administrator, advised me of this particular situation as we were developing the agenda for tonight, and I felt fairly strongly that my comfort level was not to have you down 4, and that we should bring this back to the board for reconsideration on our position of the hiring freeze. And as the board knows, we did make an exception for one particular department that was of a small number of individuals that had an impact on that department. But I felt strongly that 4 officers being down while we're going through the budget process is I guess, exceeding my concern of filling vacancies until we fill the budget. So I'd like to bring this back to the commission. I'll call on Commissioner Wheelock.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to authorize the Sheriff's Office to advertise to fill up to 4 deputies positions, and to fill 2 as soon as qualified applicants can be selected.
All right.
Support.
All right, moved by Commissioner Wheelock, seconded by Commissioner Thomas, to approve the sheriff to advertise and go through the selection process for 4 officers and to hire 2 upon immediate completion of their review. Is that my understanding of the motion? Okay. And we have motion, support, discussion. Yes.
This is something you may not want to do tonight, may want to just think about it. But based upon what Commissioner Wheelock was saying last week, that we are still saving money when we delay the hiring of these positions, you may want to think about, as you're looking at these in the budget process, you're realizing that you haven't really authorized any positions that aren't really critical to these departments. They're all critical to these departments. And you may want to just change your hiring freeze to a hiring delay, which would require a delay in the hiring until the Board of Commissioners approved the position to be posted and filled, which would add about another month of, vacancy to the.
Why don't we put that item on Ways and Means?
Well, yeah,
I think that'd be good.
I think to reevaluate the hiring freeze or redefine the hiring freeze is a separate issue.
Right.
The sheriff has been down 2 personnel since November.
November, 3 months.
Since November. I think those 2 positions need to be filled for the safety of our community. And if he has the potential of losing 2 more, I'd like to, as long as we're going through the application process and background check process, look at filling 4 positions, not authorizing the other 2 to be filled until such time as they are vacant.
Yeah. And I understand your situation about clarifying the policy for the rest of the departments.
And like I said, it can wait. I just wanted to throw it out there.
I'll get with, we'll get with Sonny and get that on the agenda for Ways and Means.
Okay.
For discussion on that clarification. And Sheriff, would you like this to have immediate effect or wait till the end of the month? You got a little ways to go. You want immediate effect, don't you? Yep.
Well, we can't, because we can't even advertise and.
All right, so the motion maker and a second agree that would be immediate effect of the Board of Commissioners. Yes, Commissioner Lemkool.
I have a problem going immediate effect on this. We just got this information today, and we haven't even had time to even digest it. I just think that, going through the regular process is going to be sufficient.
All right, who's second that motion?
Thomas.
Commissioner Thomas, do you agree on the motion to do immediate approval?
Yep.
All right, and the motion maker agrees? Okay, so we have an amended motion on the floor. Commissioner Renning.
I think I'm with Herb on that. I think we should take a week to think about this a little more.
Or you're looking at 2 weeks.
I'm sorry.
You're looking at 2 weeks.
Oh, it's not next week?
No, next week's Ways
2
and
weeks.
Means.
Oh, I thought you said Ways and Means.
Well, no, if this.
That's a hiring
committee-
freeze discussion.
If this committee approves it, it wouldn't become effective without immediate action tonight. It wouldn't become effective until after the Board of Commissioners meeting, which is 2 weeks away.
Sounds good to me.
So we have a motion on the floor to have immediate effect of the sheriff advertising for 4 positions, going forward with the hiring process and having the authority to hire 2 immediately. So that's the motion on the floor. We're going to have a roll call vote, please.
Thomas?
Yes.
Rennie?
No.
Max Bauer?
Yes.
Lemkool?
No.
Wheelock?
Yes.
Inman?
Yes. Motion passes 4-2.
Okay.
You're done.
Thank you.
You're in.
And just for clarification, you understand that the people will not be hired
Yeah.
for some time. We just
Yeah.
have to
They'll
start
just go
this
through the
process. Yeah, okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming. We'd like to come back to item A. Looks like the guests of the appointments are not here. And so...
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
knowing these 2 people, I would like to make the motion that Nicole Miller and Gerald McKetty be appointed to Community Mental Health.
Okay.
Does this need to take immediate effect? When does that appointment start? March? Okay, so we're fine. Okay.
Okay. All right. Moved by Commissioner Lemkool. Is there a second?
Support.
Let's do Commissioner Rennie. And I know that Commissioner Rennie wanted to speak on behalf of the applicants in terms of their qualifications on the board. You want to say something?
Greg, would you like to speak for a moment? Yeah, would you please, about the two candidates, and then I'd like to follow up on that a little bit. I was hoping they would be here.
Greg Paphos, Northern Lakes Community Mental Health. Thank you for the support for Nicole and Gerald. Nicole's been on the board for several years. Gerald was reappointed to fill a vacant seat. They're both wonderful people, and they're excellent board members. And I think they represent Grand Traverse County exceptionally well, and certainly are great additions to our board. I didn't know, Charlie, what amount of detail you want me to go in. I'm not sure you want me to sort of filibuster till they come, or you just, I know you got an agenda.
You got a ways to go.
Yeah, I don't think you want me to do that.
Oh, I would just say, I read the resumes. I know the two people on the board. They're about the two best members on the board, in my opinion. Gerald came in from the very first meeting. You could tell the background and what he has to offer, amazing. Nicole is a parent, and her commitment's unbelievable. She's a real quiet leader on that board. She really does a great job. So I would just like to commend both of them. I wish they could be here so the public could see them, but
I know they both had some conflicts, but they were going to try to make it here. I just didn't know what time with the...
That was difficult, I understand. But I appreciate you coming out.
Absolutely. I always appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Greg.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to accept the recommendation for the approval of two individuals to the Northern Lakes Community Health Board. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Passes. All right. And then we go to Commission on Aging, page 28. And who would like to speak on behalf of that? Commissioner Max Bauer.
I'll take it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Commission on Aging Board has had a recent resignation. That leaves us with an even-numbered board of 12. We also have a committee system where, and we have had a recent occurrence where Commissioner Inman was ill and I overslept. And had I not heard my phone ringing and rushed down to attend the committee meeting, it would have not occurred. So for those reasons, and the advantage of having another member in the community talking about Commission on Aging, talking about the work that they do as we look for passing a millage in the next year or two. The Commission on Aging Board voted almost unanimously. There was one no vote. So it was 11-1 to ask this board to appoint another Commission on Aging Board member. We're not, we obviously are going to defer to the county board's wishes, and as will I, whatever you think, but we really would prefer not having an even-numbered board.
Okay.
That's it.
Commissioner Lemko.
I am against appointing an additional member. The County Board of Commissioners can represent the whole county with 7. There's no reason why the Commission on Aging can't do that with 9. I would like it to get down to that 9, personally, to be able to be there, or, so I think it's really important that, I know that they like the representation, and I know they like their committee structure, but I think they could reorganize their committee structure and make it more efficient with fewer members on their board.
Okay, is there a motion on the floor?
I make a motion not to appoint a Commission on Aging member.
To leave it
vacant.
All right. Is there a second? Okay, moved by Commissioner Lemko, seconded by Commissioner Thomas to leave the vacancy open for further, for now.
I just wanted to comment.
Discussion.
Commissioner Lemko, we did reorganize our committee structure system. We eliminated one committee, and we do not have as many as we used to. But we find the committee system works extraordinarily well for us, as has been exemplified by the overwhelming support that we've had in the community for the millage. And if someone would repeat the motion before we vote, I'd appreciate it.
Well, we have a motion on the floor not to fill the vacancy.
Okay, thank you.
And could you clarify for me? If we don't fill the vacancy, what would be the number on the board?
12.
12. So, okay. Commissioner Wheelock.
I guess the comment that I would make, I tend to agree with Herb, but I also find myself kind of conflicted because I almost agree with Commissioner Maxbauer, but for a different reason.
You almost?
I felt the County Board of Commissioners operated very well when we had subcommittees of 3 or 4 commissioners that were meeting every week instead of the entire board meeting to make all of the decisions. And along the way, over the last few years, we've decided that didn't work. All of the commissioners wanted to be involved in every decision. So we basically have gotten rid of the committee system, and we deal entirely with committees of the whole. So I tend to agree that if the 7 of us can represent 85,000, 90,000 people in Grand Traverse County on all of the issues, the Commission on Aging should be able to get by with a lot less than 13 or 14 people.
Okay. Any other discussion on the motion on the floor? Okay, the motion on the floor is not to fill a vacancy and leave the Commission on Aging at 12 members. Roll call vote, please.
Rennie?
Yes.
Maxbauer?
Yes.
Lemkool?
Yes.
Wheelock?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yep.
Inman?
Yes. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, that takes care of everything under new business. We will now go on to second public comment. Does any member of the public wish to speak at this time?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'd like to recognize the students that we have from the civics class. We appreciate them being here. We hope that it's been educational for them. And we don't ask them to speak, but we'd like to recognize that they are here.
Yeah, make them speak.
I'm sure they would, but we don't ask them to.
Well, thank you for
The one
coming.
young lady, this is her second meeting, so she was here
She's done her time.
another time, so.
Well, make sure you get whatever, if we have to sign something, make sure you
Yeah.
get it before we have to go into our closed session. Okay? Thank you for coming. Any other public comment opportunity? Seeing none, we will close second public comment. We will move on to Commissioner Committee reports. Anyone have a report? Commissioner Maxbauer.
You're not going to want me to sign your paperwork.
No,
I have a
she's
cold.
not feeling well.
I wanted to let everybody know that at Garfield Tuesday evening, the Garfield assessor stepped up and informed the Garfield Township Board that they would no longer have to fight the tax appeal for the Grand Traverse Mall. The Department of Treasury, the state of Michigan, has stepped up, and they are going to fight it.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I wanted to let everybody know that. Also, at Garfield last night, there was a discussion about the SAW grants. Apparently, there has been such a response asking for SAW grant money that the state is now going to do a lottery. So if you're lucky, you get one, and if you're not, you don't. And the lottery is going to be held within the next week or so, so government municipalities will find out soon.
You might want to mention what the SAW grant was for Garfield Township.
I can't remember it at the moment.
It's
It was for design work,
additional
wasn't
sewer
it?
water improvements for the design of additional sewer
Interesting.
water. They're also looking at whether or not they should add additional water capacity for their township.
Okay.
Because they're at the max. They also voted to, I don't know what the increase was, but they increased the pay of the elected officials in Garfield
Oh,
Township.
interesting.
Yes, they did.
And I don't know what the percentage was.
Very interesting. Glad they stepped forward.
I don't know what the percentage was either, but I know their clerk, the township clerk's salary went to 69.
God.
I can't remember the other ones. That was the first one that I heard, so.
I was not able to be there because I was at Blair Township too.
Please. Okay, any other commissioner committee reports?
I have one.
Yes.
Went to the Northern Michigan County Association last week. Great
Yes.
meeting. Had 3 MAC representatives there.
Yep.
They gave us their priorities for 2014. I'll go over them quickly. Full funding for county revenue sharing. We like that one. Prevent future unfunded mandates. Big issue for the county. Reform tax capture statutes. I think that's very interesting. Closing the big box dark store tax loophole. We know a little bit about that. and consistent and reliable transportation funding. So I think they've got
We
a
like
pretty
that.
good priority, which should help the counties a great deal.
Right, good, thank you. Anything else? Anyone else had the
Oh, I
report?
forgot one more thing.
Yes.
Michigan Association of Counties sent out an email to the Economic Development Committee members saying that the state is thinking about uncapping the trust fund for park purchases. Michigan Association of Counties is taking a position that, to their legislators, that please do not put any more public land in counties without payment in lieu of taxes. So I wanted to let you all know that they're working on that.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? All right, we'll close Commissioner Committee reports. We'll move on to notices and announcements. Really, the only thing is we've got our budget meeting for Friday, from 3 to 5.
And then on the 25th is a meeting of the 911 people, and I'm going to that. That's
Oh, I've got that written down.
Yeah, so that'll be talking about whether or not they could collaborate on 911 programs and services in our northern Michigan area.
Right, and if you still want to go to that, see Chris, because she's, Chris or Linda, and she's helping getting us registered for that. Anyone else on that?
I think the road commission is having some sort of seminar coming up in March.
Yeah.
It was on your report. Yeah, something like that. If you want to announce that,
Go to the microphone.
might be some people interested in going to that.
Yeah, excuse me, Jim Cook, Grand Traverse County Road Commission. That was in our report. All government officials are invited to attend the Michigan Tech Training Center presentation, Introduction to Asset Management. It's a workshop for elected officials. It's on March 18th at the Traverse Area District Library. And was there a flyer attached to your?
Yeah, there was.
Oh, there was, oh, good.
9:30 a.m. to 11:30.
Okay. Yeah, so should be good. It's an abbreviated version of the asset management training, but it's helpful.
All right,
Thanks, Jim.
thank you. Anyone else on notices and announcements? We'll close that. We do have I believe we have a closed session tonight regarding Lawrence versus Grand Traverse County update with our other council that we have, Hader Kazem.
Settlement discussion.
And there's a settlement discussion. Will you be recommending a action after your discussion? Okay, so we want to notify the public that is watching that it is very likely we will come back from closed session with a recommendation of action from the Board of Commissioners on that item. So we need a motion to go into closed session, if someone would like to make that motion.
So moved. Support.
All right, moved by Commissioner Rennie, second by Commissioner Wheelock to go into closed session regarding Lawrence versus Grand Traverse County. Roll call vote, please.
Max Bauer?
Yes.
Lemkool?
Yep.
Wheelock?
Yes, ma'am.
Thomas?
Yep.
Rennie?
Yes.
Inman?
Yes. All right. We'll go to the adjacent room.
If you guys want to have your stuff signed up, bring it up now.
Yeah, let's
It may be a
get you
while.
signed up right now.
You just may or may not want to stay around.
Have a good trip.
So you had a good vacation? That's cool. In spite of the wife telling you had to go do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. You have to get away.
Oh, there's our two awardees. It's already been approved.
Yeah.
We'll give you a chance to speak. We wanted to.
You want to speak?
Yes. Well, we want to honor you for your outstanding performance on the board. We waited for you. Yeah. Okay, we need a motion to come out of closed
Chairman, I would
session.
move that we come out of closed session, please.
Sorry. All right, moved by Commissioner Wheelock, seconded by Commissioner Rennie to come out of closed session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Before we adjourn, we have some additional, I'm sorry.
Let's take care of this.
Let's take care of the motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we accept the settlement agreement in the litigation of Lawrence versus Grand Traverse County as outlined by our attorney.
Support.
All right, moved by Commissioner Wheelock, seconded by Commissioner Thomas, to approve the settlement offer of Lawrence versus Grand Traverse County as presented by our attorney. Roll call vote, please.
Levenpool.
Yep.
Wheelock.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yep.
Rennie.
Yes.
Max Bauer.
Yes.
Inman.
Yes, motion passes.
Thank
Before
you,
we
Peter.
adjourn the meeting,
We have two guests.
we have two guests that we were hoping could come, and I would like to call on Commissioner Rennie to introduce these two individuals and their fine performance on the board that you serve on.
Well, I would love to do that. I served on this board about a year. Very impressed with it. Nicole is a trooper down there. I am amazed by her commitment, her leadership, that sort of thing. Gerald came in about mid last year, made an immediate contribution, has an incredible resume, and we're just glad you both are on the board. Very valuable members. So if you'd like to come up to the podium and say a word, please do.
Oh, boy.
You don't know what you're asking for there, Charlie.
However, I will do this. Word.
Ooh, that's the shortest I've ever heard you.
I know. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to 3 years. I got one or two projects for the board I'm working on. I think I'm going to need about at least a year and a half to move them forward. But I do appreciate your confidence and your willingness to let me sit on the board for another 3 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I also came in a midterm, so I do appreciate that vote of confidence for my next full term and my next 3 years, because it has been a great learning process, and I feel like I'm just getting started. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I just want to let you know, this is a first for me. I'm usually sitting in the audience listening to Gerald McKetty, and today
me
he's
too.
listening to me in the audience.
Which is worse.
Which is worse. Okay.
He always had a good word.
All right, any
can
other
vote on
business
that.
for the commission? We have a motion to adjourn.
that we adjourn.
Moved by Commissioner Wheelock, seconded by Commissioner
Nobody second.
Rennie. All in favor? Aye, we stand adjourned.
Go home.